So we are talking to Olivier Robert Murphy. He's in charge of the new business in Universal Music, and he comes right from the jury.
From?
The jury.
That's true. Jury.
Room. And we must to thank him for his time, for our readers. But I think this is a question that you will not like very much, because there are many small companies, production companies now, doing new things with technology and so on. And they tend to think that great companies are died. How can you manage this kind of controversy?
Great company have died.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
They say that big companies, production companies, are dying because they are anchored in their own business. I know that is not the point, but they used to say that. So, how do you answer?
Okay. First, it's not true. Whatever people say. The second point is, what is fascinating is that all this company, we work with them for years, for decades. So all this company, hand in hand, all this small startup, we support them. We look at them, we help them, we do innovation. You know, if you go to the Cannes Lions, there is a startup. It's actually one of my guys who's helping the Cannes Lions in this category to help other startups. So I don't believe this is true. It's all about creativity. Whatever you are, a startup or a major, it's the same result. It's what comes out of this. And creativity is not about size. It's about talent, it's about people.
So, nice to know. The second question for you is the following. You've said somewhere that the 4 P's of marketing are died.
You have done your research. I like
yes,
that.
I think so. In which extent?
Okay, let me explain that to you. I used to work for Procter & Gamble. So as a person, I've been trained, I've been beaten up by what we call the 4 P's. You know, the price, the product needs to be placed at high sight. So when you come in the store, you buy it. It's about what's a promotion, etc. This was true years ago, but as we've seen over the last 10 years, it has totally transformed. And now, if you go to companies now, you have chief engagement officer, you have chief digital officer, you have chief content officer. You have all this new world, which is what the audience is about today. And that's where the 4 E's come in. It's about the engagement. How do I engage with the consumer in a way that it is relevant to him? The second one is the experience. How can I give him as a brand? How can I give him an experience that is better than anyone else? Mm-hmm. The third one is the exclusivity. Even if you give an exclusivity to millions of people, as a consumer, so from a consumer point of view, you want to have a feeling, oh, only me have this. Only me I could see this show. Only me I could meet this artist. Only me. So, and that the consumer is very important for them. And the 4th E, the emotion. The emotion is difficult to explain, but the emotion, when you listen to music, it gives you emotion. Emotion, therefore, here, obviously, especially in Cannes, is about the music.
Mm-hmm. That drives me to the following question, because if everything is about emotion, mm-hmm. how can music help this? We know that when we listen to music, we feel in some way. Mm-hmm. It drives our feelings to a point. It mm-hmm. can do it. Mm-hmm. And also, it can sell us something.
Can it sell us something?
Sell us something. You can be driven by music to a point, mm-hmm. perhaps the point of buying.
Okay, I got your question. The point I would like to make, we are in Cannes Lions. In Cannes Lions, if there is no music, there is no Cannes Lions. First, there is no party. But on top of that, if you look at every campaign, every work that is being judged, I think there is 23 different juries. Every single campaigns have music, because music brings the campaign to a different level. So that on the side, music on its own, how could you help, that's your question, how could you help brands? So not only enhance the campaign, but also it drive the, when you're listening to music, you can't explain it. It makes you sad, it makes you want to move, it makes you to dance. That's the reaction human beings. We've done many research over many, many years about how much music affects. If you're listening to music, you're 12.5% more effective when you do a jogging. How do you explain that? You can't explain this. This is how music comes to you. It's an inner emotions, it's an inner consequence of just listening to music.
Is that important for a brand to find its own DNA, musical DNA?
You're talking about two approaches here. The first one is what we call the sound branding, where effectively if you open your computer and it does, you know exactly it's coming from Intel, or you're listening to Coca-Cola or whatever, they have some branding. That aside, I believe more and more the media world have changed. So do you remember we were buying TV campaign and billboards and radio to get a GRP, gross rating points, and it was about how much of my audience I'm touching and how many times I'm touching it. What is interesting now is that you could do that with music. So all these talent, artists, they have millions of fans loving them, and if you cleverly associate a brand, the talent, its creativity, it will give to the audience, it will reach audience. So by associating different talent, the brand could have the same impact as for traditional media.
Mm-hmm. But the question was not exactly that.
Okay.
I know about music branding and so on. The point is that a brand has a personality, you know, and is a personality that is transmitted to the audience or to the consumer. But in the same way that a person expresses itself, how can brands do the research, do the work to express themselves, but changing, not always with the tone of Nokia and so on, but changing? Are you working on that?
We work with a lot of brands.
The same, but in this style, this style, this style, this style, this style, this style.
I don't think you can give a style of music to a brand. I don't think that works. It doesn't work like this. I think I understand what you're saying. It's more about how the brand could associate themselves with music, more than create
a tone.
Their own, yes. I mean, this wonderful guy, I forgot his name now, who wrote a book about, he did 100 interviews with people to see how brands could associate themselves. It sounds like branding, it was called, this book. Mm-hmm. And he did 100 interviews, and you had so many different views about this. There is no one size fits all. So I understand your question, but I don't think you can answer it with one magic wand. Is how could each brand use their DNA, exactly as you said, and a way to associate themselves with music, meaning with talent, meaning with creators.
I know if you are following the work, for example, of his Spanish, I think, is Carlos Jean.
Okay.
No, but you can find him in our magazine.
Sure.
Watch.
I can't wait.
He's more or less in this way. He is trying to develop music that fits with the DNA of the brands and associating the brands with music.
A lot of brands do more than DNA, they talking
even through
about
co-creation, even through co-creation.
Well, in this case, let me give you an example. It was in the US and then it was everywhere. You had Jeep. You know Jeep, the car? Mm-hmm. They were launching a new car called Renegade.
Yes, I've talked about that.
How do you know? How do you know about
this?
it? Okay, great.
Talk.
Oh, talk to you about this. So Renegade was interesting because that was the name of a car. And they approached us to see how could we work together. Mm-hmm. And our label in the US called Interscope came up with a very good idea, which was to associate a brand into the launch of this car. And the brand came out with a song called Renegade that was communicating on the values of a car. Escapism, freedom, adventure, etc. Even the lyrics of the songs were communicating these values. To cut a story short, the music was top 10 in more than 20 markets. But more importantly, you had kids all over the world singing Renegade, Renegade, which was the name of a car.
So great. You put the name of the car on the musical map so people can follow and be fan of the car. Thank you. There's another thing. People is talking about co-creation. I don't know which is the approach from Universal Music related to this point, co-creation, using the material that people provide.
So co-creation between who and who?
Between consumers and the artist.
And the artist.
And the artist.
Well, you're talking about
Avicii, for example, Nokia. Now, Carlos Jean, before Avicii did the Nokia work, this man in Spain did something for Valentine's. So, more or less the same.
Sure.
Which is your approach to that?
Well, the approach is, I just spent a week in a room judging in Cannes Lions, and I'm telling you, I've seen many campaigns where artists works hand in hand with their audience, with their fans. It could be inspiration from the lyrics to create new songs. It could be inspiration about how to communicate about the song, etc., etc. So it's not only Universal Music; it's a lot of companies do that, but it's true we also do that. Where our artists, I know, love to work with their fans. Absolutely.
Which is the role of technology? I mean, for example, deep learning. I mean, for example, data management. I think, for example, neuroscience, for example. Which is the role of all these technologies that are new in music now?
So, you know, I told you before, people have chief engagement officer, etc. You have a lot of chief data officer now. So data is the, how can I say that? It's a big word everyone uses all the time. I see it a bit differently. Data is about having a source of information, but it's not about having it. It's about how do you use it. So the first thing, thanks to data, if you work with an artist and a brand, thanks to data you will know exactly what the consumer wants. Thanks to insight, you will know how they want it. And then if you put the artist and the brand together they create, because they're both creators, they create how to deliver it to the fans. So that's why, again, data is important and everyone is talking about it. Fine. I see this more as a big bucket of information. It's more about how do you have the tools and the technology, and I like when you say that, how technology is important to analyze better this data to give to the consumer exactly what he wants.
And what about deep learning? And what about, we've heard about even computers composing music.
Yes.
And even robots playing music.
Sure.
And things like that.
Okay.
And with also some materials about, for example, neuroscience applied to the music.
Okay.
In which point are you?
It links very well with what you're saying with data. Yes, deep learning and data could tell you, oh, if you want a hit, on average, you need to have a track, the chorus who starts after X second. You need to have the song structure in that way. So 3 chorus, etc., etc. It gives you, it's better. You better chance to have a hit if it is in that tone, etc. That key. Sorry. Does that make you a hit? No way. That tells you information. But that's why you need this talent who create, who inspired. And by the way, more and more of them co-create. They work together with producers, with all the experts we have at Universal Music, to create a sound, a story, an emotion. And up to now, I might be wrong, there's no machine who creates emotions.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a good answer, I think.
Thank you.
I think so.
That's what I think.
Because always we are, everybody is talking about robots and boats and things like that, but we forget that we are humans. So there's something that the machine can't do. So
Sure, exactly.
that's why. Thank you. That's another question for you. How much is changed the business? For example, some years ago, you launched an artist. The artist had fans. The fans bought the record. Now everything's changed. Everything is changed. How much is it the new technologies to do with this change? For example, streaming. For example, buying each piece of the record, not the whole record with the production, things like that.
Okay. It's true the industry has transformed. It's not a secret. We know the music industry has been had its challenges. But what is fascinating is that if you look at the numbers, the official numbers, music industry has been growing for the last years significantly. It's not my area of expertise, but the only thing I could tell you is that the future is so bright. I could tell you 10 years ago, an artist, because I always like to speak as an artist, but an artist used to make most of his revenue through a piece of plastic, which was a CD. Today, it's not the case. He's creating and generating revenue through many sources of revenue. What it is live, what it is brands, what it is streaming, what it is download, what it is etc., box set, deluxe, etc. So it's all this variety of exploitation for him, where he could express his talent and therefore income.
I mean, technology has disrupted the industry in some way that the artist can sell his own music directly to the people, not counting with universal music and so on. Do you think this is the future or not? Or are you doing the future also with the artist?
I don't know. That's a tricky question because I'm not in charge of this.
I know, but I think it's related because you are another source of income for this business, and that's related because of that. I know it's not your point, but if you can answer, we can link.
Okay, my answer would be as this. As you said, we went through a massive transformation, the Uberization, every company is going through this kind of transformation. And as a result, you have more and more information, you have access to 10 times, millions, or billions of information. How could one single artist in his bedroom find his way in this multitude of information? He needs help. And you know what? It's what we're good at. Helping
Promotion.
It's not only about promotion,
you
it's about funding, using
out.
the technology and funding different ways for every single artist in their bedroom to be able, or playing in small pubs, to get noticed.
You know, this man, Carlos Jean, is trying to start off a new company called Movers.
Okay.
He is devoted, this company is devoted to helping YouTubers that with musical talent to become a complete artist, you know, not only having hits in YouTube. So are you thinking about doing something like that, or are you already doing something?
We do that. I mean, we have the dedicated division doing this. Of course we do that. If you look at content online, you could see that before that there is new talents also being promoted. Yes, it is necessary. It is in the core of what universal music is about, and that's why I love this company actually, because it's all about the discovery of the next talent.
And there comes the question for you. In this disruptive world with technology and all that stuff, how is your division helping universal music to have another source of income?
Okay.
Which is the role you are playing in the whole business?
First thing is, a lot of people use the word disruptive. You just use it. I'm not sure I like that very much, to be frank. For me, it's not about disruption. It's about opportunity, and we've seen it. You know, we grew. I think the industry grew 4.9% last year. That's what it is about. It's an opportunity. Okay, so now I lost what you wanted to say. You said why? How do we use this?
Which is the role of your division?
Oh, my division. That's it.
In the whole business.
As I said it, the only thing I do every morning when I wake up, it's for our artists. It's for our talent. So how could I effectively associate an artist to a brand? How I could offer him the chance to be creative, working hand in hand with the brands. I'll give you an example. Makeup for Eva. It's a wonderful brand for makeup. JCJ decided to partner with them. She was another talent. She worked with them. She developed with them the game. She created music content, video content, branded content. And she worked with YouTubers together. All of this has been seen by millions of people. It's very nice when they do this together. Ellie Goulding just did a major partnership. I think it's just been launched a few weeks ago with Dutchman, which is a massive shoes. Ellie Goulding was involved in the creation of the shoes. That's what is called co-creation.
Which is the role of partnerships in all the business you are leading? It's important between tech companies, between artists, between another brands, for example.
Okay.
Which is the role?
I'm going to tell you how it's important. Is that we do this every day. You have no choice. That's how the business is today. You work together, all together. It's a big world. You associate this world, and all these people come with expertise, whatever it's technology company, whether it's people and mind, talent mind, and together they create something you didn't think about.
Something that you are cooking and nobody knows about partnerships, and you can tell us.
C'est vrai, a partnership and no one can...
Yeah. Are you cooking?
Cooking.
Cooking.
Now
cooking.
Am I working on a partnership I cannot announce? Contractually, no.
That was the word cooking.
I understand. Well, I have a lot of cook, and I do a lot of cooking at the same time. I can't.
You can't, but you are working on another partnership.
We have a lot of them. We have a lot of cooks and again cooking happening at the moment. It smells very good, by the way. I could smell it from here, but I can't answer.
Yeah, perhaps. Even you can't tell us the world area, for example, is for Asia, is for all over the world, is global.
Oh, I love this question. Thank you for saying it. I forgot to tell you this. I repeated to the jury I was with all week. We're here to celebrate cultural diversity. We're here to recognize the work that is done, whatever the religion, whatever the gender, and whatever the world is coming from. I just love the fact I've seen a lot of initiative coming from Africa, a lot of from Asia, Japan, anywhere around the world, Eastern Europe, Latin America, and I'm telling you, I'm absolutely blown away by how much these people could come up. It's not about money. It's not about coming with a big box and investing in media. It's about how could a creative idea touch the people and become locally, culturally relevant.
So local is important, but also the ideas and the creativity that transcend. Yes, go further.
Yes, that's true.
So, and how can you find this local talent that is able to...
That's exactly why we're structured as we are. We are in so many countries. A lot of our revenue is coming from domestic talent.
Yeah.
So we have the people in the right location. You could even in Cambodia, or you could pick any countries around the world, the Middle East or Africa, and the way we structure is about having all these local people, understanding it. As soon as you have a great idea, we totally organized to push it. And you know what? It's exactly the same thing as for music. You're discovering a talent somewhere, he becomes a star locally, he becomes a star regionally, he becomes a star globally. Think Lord, coming from New Zealand. She became then big in Australia, and then she became big in the US, and then she became big worldwide, and she's a worldwide star we know now.
So many thanks for your time.
My pleasure.
I think it's all for us for the moment.
Thank you so much.
And we hope you will talk with us in the future also.
I will, because we just finished the jury, as you know. We have incredible results. I can't tell them because they're going to be announced to the press tomorrow. But I'm telling you, we need to talk because you will be amazed by the success.
So I hope so.
Eva, thank you so much.
So much. Thank you.